Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of A Gardener's Journey Homestead. I am Barbara. Thank you so much for stopping by. Y'all, did you see the beginning of the video with my new shoes? You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. Okay, y'all, I'm hyped. I got on some new shoes. I can't wait to tell you about them. We're going to do some stuff in the garden. But these new shoes that I got, y'all, let me just tell you something. You always be open to trying new things. Here is the reason why. My friends over at HISEA sent me a pair of boots to try out. Now, when they sent me an email, I said, I will try them, but I've always worn muck boots and I love them. So just know that. In other words, I don't want to say anything that's not true, okay? Because I'm getting interest in my email box for collaborations, and I turned down lots of them because I only want to do things that I would normally use, and I only want to give very honest and fair opinions, right? I'm not going to get on here telling y'all something's great when I don't think it's great. Y'all already know that's not how I roll. And y'all know even before any of this, I was already buying a lot of new stuff, and I would tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly. And if I think you should have it, then I'll tell you I think you should have it. If I tell you, hey, jury's still out, jury's still out. So whatever I say, you can take it to the bank, and it's all true. These boots right here, I am in love, okay? I am in love. So let me give you the backstory. And for those who are brand new to me, thank you so much for stopping by. We are going to show you some gardening stuff and show you how things are going. But first, I got to talk about these boots because I spend a lot of time outside. I spend a lot of time in the garden. You guys know because you see me every day on the YouTube channel, right? And when I first started gardening, I didn't know nothing. You know, I only know a little bit now, but I didn't know anything, especially did not know about shoes to wear. So I was coming out here in my tennis shoes, and I quickly learned after 2 pair, like, oh, don't wear your shoes that you wear out to the garden because that's not the move. You got to have some separate gardening shoes. That was lesson number 1. Then I got these like rain boots. They were like, you know, water repellent, but they were really a rain boot, right? And they were comfortable for like the first hour, but they did great about, you know, repelling the water and all that stuff. So then I was at a friend's house one day, and she said, have you heard of muck boots? And I'm like, no, what's that? She showed me hers. I was like, oh, okay. So they were having a sale, so I ordered some. Loved them, right? And y'all have seen me in my videos. For the last year, that's all I've worn are muck boots. So when my friends over at HISEA said, hey, we would love for you to try our boots, I was like, okay. I'm not really in the market for new boots because I got a pair that I love. And those muck boots have lasted me. So I will tell you, I was already kind of skeptical. So the boots arrived. I took them out of the package. First of all, they're really lightweight. My muck boots, like you can feel them when they're in your hand. These right here are the women deck boots in brown. They come in like 3 or 4 other colors. I think they have a gray, a black, and I want to say that maybe there was a burgundy or whatever. I got brown because it was neutral, you know, and I like the fact that I can wear them with my jeans. Like I could go out to a Tractor Supply right now at Home Depot and won't be looking crazy. Like it kind of blends in and goes. But here was the kicker for me. These things are so, I thought my muck boots were comfortable. Like when I wear my muck boots like that, and this is nothing against muck boots because again, I like my muck boots and I've been loving them for a year. But this right here is on a different level. The comfort level alone is superior. I put my feet in these boots and they are so soft. The sole feels so good, but yet I still feel like I have support. And then it's like this easy on and off. Okay, I can't take my shoes off here because I'm standing on the ground. And even though I am a country girl, I'm still a girl. All right? So I don't want walking around in my socks in my greenhouse. That's not what we do. Okay, let's come over here and I'll show you. Okay, so y'all can kind of see there's this easy slip on. You got this little loophole here. You can literally just slip them off your foot and slip them on. My muck boots are not that easy. Y'all, I love these boots. HISEA, you have made a believer out of me. Thank you so much for asking me to try your boots and to collaborate with me. I am so glad that you did, because I don't know that I would have done it on my own. I had heard many and seen many of my gardening friends talk about these boots, but it was kind of like, okay, great, it's another good brand. I wear muck, they're all good, all fine, right? I didn't have any complaints, but now that I've worn these, the comfort level is unmatched. They are so comfortable on my feet. I love the slip on and slip off. They're so easy to get in and out of. And my feet have been dry. I've been in wet grass, dry grass. I've been in the garden. I've been in the tunnel. I've been behind my house. I've been up and down hills. Like, I have done all the things. I've had them for 4 days. So when I showed you the video this morning of me putting them on, I had already received them. I was not going to get them out of the box and do like this unboxing, put them on, tell you how great they were, and then go to the garden. No, I have been wearing them for 4 days because I wanted to know for myself if I really liked them, right? And if I didn't like them, then I just would have sent them back or just said, hey, I can't go on there and telling people to buy if I don't believe in it. I'm only going to tell you the truth. These boots are unmatched. If you have some HISEA, put it down below. If you don't have any and you need some good gardening boots, you need to go to the link in my bio right here. Click the description below and get you a pair. They're giving a code for some percentage off so that you can get them at a discount. These are the women deck boots in brown is what I have. So go grab your pair. Now, let's get on to the business. I want to show you before it gets dark the progress we've made in the tunnel as we've been transitioning from summer to fall. So it's like a mini garden tour, not a full one. And then also let's show you the seedlings. So let's go head back over to the seed starting table and see what the seedlings are. Okay, y'all. So here is how our seedlings are doing. This is the first tray. So this is probably 3 or 4 weeks in. This is kale, looking good. I have some lettuce and some bok choy and broccoli. All of that's looking good. I still have 2 trays in my house as well. I brought this one down here today just so I can get some airflow, and I wanted to see what I had. This right here are collards, bok choy. Then we have a couple of other ones sprinkling up, which is cabbage. Back here in the back, that is the tray that I talked about from Grow Friend. I have good germination on the right, but very slow germination on the left, which is odd because the ones on the left are lettuce, and lettuce usually does pretty good for me. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. And then I did a tray of 72 here about 4 or 5 days ago, and you can see I have some germination popping up. Right here is lettuce, then here is kale, and then over here are collards. So I would say the collards and the bok choy and the kale have been pretty consistent in terms of germination. I have struggled with some of the others. So remember I was saying overall I feel like my germination has been not as 100% as it normally is. So this tray right here is full, but I have 2 other trays in my house, and I took the ones that didn't germinate. I took them out and then kind of just made up a tray. So this one is full, but this is not the original tray. It's pieces of another tray that I filled in with. The other thing is that, remember, I took 3 trays to my house, this being one of them, because I was already seeing some pest damage on my cabbage and my bok choy. And so I took it to the house like the day I saw the damage. And wouldn't you know that in my house, they are still been eaten. And when I look at the back of the leaves, they're these, I don't know what they are. It's like these little black bugs, little long, slender things. I don't know if it's an aphid, cabbage. I don't know what it is. I'm not good with my insects. But anyway, so I don't know if I transferred it to the house because I got those off, and then the very next morning they were on there again. There were more. So they pretty much ate up the bok choy plant in my house. So I'm going to have to do some more seeds and start over. So I lost like probably, I don't know, 6 because they were eaten up, and I just went ahead and threw them away to get rid of the bugs and all of that good stuff. So I'm assuming that when I took it from here to my house, it was already back there, and I didn't check the back of it. I just kind of removed it from what I thought was the source. I'm assuming that's what happened. Or because I have so much produce in my house right now, I know the bugs are coming in with the produce as well. It has been hard to manage the fruit flies and the bugs, just because when you have fresh produce like on your counters, you know, I don't have the schedule to where I pick it that day and it's being preserved or harvested. Excuse me, it's not being preserved the day that it's harvested. We're not eating it the day it was harvested, you know, so there is a delay between it being preserved and then it being harvested. So it's sitting on the counter sometimes 2 or 3 days before something is done with it, or it's sitting on the counter to ripen if it's a tomato. So I don't know what happened with the bugs, but somehow they were in my house and they ate my bok choy. So I still need to do an inventory of how, because I feel like I've started a lot of seeds, so to speak. I've 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've started like 7 trays of seeds of some size or fashion. But I would say my germination, if I had to put an average on it, it's probably been, I would say maybe 70%, which is not terrible, but it ain't great either. So I feel like I still need to take inventory of how many of what crop I have to see if I have enough for my crop plant. I don't feel like I do, but it's a feeling. It is not fact. But I am good with how some of these things are looking, especially like this kale. That looks really, really good. This is the winter boar kale, which is a new one that I'm doing. Here's my dilemma, is whether or not to put them out yet, because it's still kind of warm. So this week it's in the mid 80s. Next week it'll be in the low to mid 80s. But y'all, I was looking at the temperature today for the next 10 days, and there is one night it's going to be 58 degrees next week. Like, what? Like, can you give us some notice? How we go from like 75 at night to 58? Like 58 is pretty low, especially for my stuff outside, because, you know, but again, in the tunnel, it'll be fine. Like, I'm not concerned, but, I heard my husband coming, but I was expecting him to come through the front, and I heard something behind me rattling. Y'all's about to see me leap into air, because I'm like, what is that behind me? It's my husband. So all good. But y'all saw me. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. This video is about to be over. Okay, so what was I saying? Oh, I saw there was going to be 58 one night next week. Honey, can you believe that?
58?
58 one night next week. Yes.
That's cold for plants.
That's crazy. So I'm not concerned about the stuff in the tunnel. Obviously, 58 is fine, and it won't be, you know, if we had to close it up, we could. But, I mean, I still got tomatoes in here trying to do their thing. And, yeah, I might have to close it up that night. But my point is, I'm wondering, do I still want to put out my fossil? Like, my kale is ready to be transplanted. Like, it's ready. But I'm afraid because it's 80-something in the middle of the day, which means it can be 90 in the tunnel. Will it be okay? Will it be okay? Dilemma. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. By the time you see this and give me a thought, I may have already done it, but put your thoughts down anyway. I can't remember what I did last year. I guess I need to go watch my own YouTube video, huh? Okay, well, daylight is leaving. Let me show you the rest of the tunnel, because I'm proud of the progress we're making from transition from summer to fall. So let me turn you around and show you some of the stuff we've done. Overall, it is looking much cleaner. Much cleaner. So if you're starting on this side, we still have our peppers and stuff in there. They're still doing good. This is the bed with the carrots. You can't see it, but today I finally saw a little tiny bit of germination. I was getting worried, like I was gonna have to reseed, and I still may have to reseed, but I did see a little bit of germination. It's hard to tell now, but trust me, there's some there. So then let us go to this bed. This is the flower bed, the pollinator patch. We pulled out all of the flowers in this bed. I've already amended this bed. It is ready for planting. So I amended it with feather meal and added compost and also an all-purpose fertilizer. So that bed is ready to go. So that is done. Then when we go to this side, our lettuce is still doing good. That's some of our lettuce from the summer. We planted a couple of new ones right there on the left-hand side. And this whole bed will be filled with lettuce very soon as we can get our seedlings to the place where they need to be. This bed here is where the sweet potatoes were. You'll see that on a different video where we harvested all of our sweet potatoes. It was great. And then this bed, we've cleaned it out mostly, and it's ready to be amended, and then it'll be ready to plant. So that one is ready to go as well, almost. Here are the green beans. They're still hanging on. And then here, let me take you down this way. Y'all, this is where all the cucumbers were. All the cucumbers are gone, have been taken out. You can see we have one little pile of trash there, but for the most part, this whole aisleway is clean. The only thing at the end of this row are jalapeno pepper plants and those cantaloupe. Moving over here, you can see that we've also cleaned out some of these rows. We took up the plants that were no longer doing anything, or branches were broken, but we still have quite a few peppers in the middle row and quite a few peppers on this last row. But you can see some spots that are open that where we've removed some, so it's much more manageable. Then let me move you to the tomato row. That probably 25% of our tomatoes are gone. Remember, we had a whole bunch that was lying on the ground here. We went ahead and took those out because either they were not producing as much anymore, and or the fruit on it was damaged every time we would go get it, and or just to make space. We did make some executive decisions to go ahead and take some of them out for space, just because the effort it was going to take to string them back up was more than what we were willing to do to only keep them for another 2 or 3 weeks. So remember, I talk about often that you get to the point in the season where you have to make some decisions, and sometimes you have to get rid of something that is doing a-okay or doing well to make space for the new thing. Because if you miss your window of opportunity for the new thing, then you've missed it, and then you're like, okay, but I got tomatoes in October, but then you have nothing in the fall, right? And so for this, we had plenty of tomato plants that were down, that we had fallen down from the string. They were all tangled up. They were barely producing. So we could have hung them back up and gotten more life out of them for sure. They still did have some tomatoes on them, or it was either take them out, because that was a much quicker. And to be honest, I don't necessarily need the tomatoes, and I still have tomatoes in here. So this first row, we probably have 50% of the row still occupied. And then on this back row, I'm going to show you, is where all those new tomatoes, the last succession of tomatoes that we did, they are just now putting on flowers. And so if all goes well, then, and I'm looking because I see some hornworm damage on one of my plants. I need to spray and fertilize. I haven't been on my fertilizing game in the last 2 to 3 weeks. My backpack sprayer is on the fritz. I bought a new backpack sprayer that I'm going to show you. I'm excited about, but I hadn't even had a chance to get it out of the box. I've had it probably for, I don't know, a week or two now, but I haven't had a chance to get it set up and out of the box. So I haven't been fertilizing, you know, not ideal, but that's the way it goes. But I just see that one of my plants, I'm about to go find this hornworm and put him I'm about to put him in misery is what I'm about to do. Let me turn you around and show you the tomato plants that this whole row of tomatoes right there are all new tomato plants, so to speak. This was our last succession that we did. I want to say we got these in the ground probably, if I remember correctly, like maybe in July. It was at the very last. Anyway, if you were here, you know about that and how we were doing that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, at least 12 plants that are the last succession. So if they produce and do something, we're gonna have more tomatoes. But we still have like tomatoes here. Here's a San Marzano. You know, I was talking about, yep, something eating it. I was talking bad about the San Marzano. It's just like it's decided now it wants to be part of the party because I was talking bad about it. It ain't been doing nothing, and now all of a sudden it's saying, no, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something. We're gonna see what happens. But basically, I have the San Marzano, then I have the Rebelskis up here. They are still doing well, but if we don't get them soon, like as soon as they start blushing, something is definitely eating them. I'm having way more disease than I normally would. But it still has plenty of tomatoes on it, as you can see. I got clusters and clusters of tomatoes that is still producing quite well. So overall, tunnel is looking good in this transition, and I like the fact that we're cleaning up kind of as we go, as we're going from one season to the next. And then also, you guys know that I'm doing my first gardening class this weekend, and we're going to have people here physically, as well as we're actually streaming it online as well. And so, you know, you bring people to your house, you gotta at least be looking presentable. So that's another reason we're trying to just clean up and just make it look presentable. Not like eat off the floor presentable, because it is a greenhouse, but at least people that are not used to walking in this space, they don't have to like watch every little step and, you know, be tripping and falling. You know, for us, we're here every single day, so we know where the piles are, even though it's not safe. But you know how it is. In the middle of the season, you just put stuff down, things get misplaced, and it's hard to kind of keep it clean at the same time when this is not your full-time job. But anyway, things are looking good. Let's see if we can make it outside before it gets dark. I thought I would just give you this view instead of walking in through the madness. If you look at it from this vantage point, you see a garden that has produced well, and in some respects is still producing. Like, definitely the purple hull peas are still stealing the show. They are still producing quite abundantly, as well as our watermelons. But things like our peppers and tomatoes, they are dwindling but still producing. Like, literally, y'all, I just picked a whole basket of tomatoes yesterday. So we're just in this weird space. It's the weird space because you know that things are wrapping up. You know that things, let me see if I can get to a different angle because the sun is actually setting. See if we can get a little bit more light over here. It's a weird space because you know that things are on their way out. But when I look at the purple hull row, I'm just like, go girl, go. Like, you doing your thing, still doing it. She's like, I am not fazed by any of this. I still have peas to produce, right? And then you look at the tomatoes, it's like, man, can I get a drink of water? Like, I'm still gonna do something, but I'm not gonna give you 20, I'm gonna give you 10. So I can't complain because literally, y'all, I have a basket full of tomatoes on my kitchen counter that we just picked yesterday between the back of the house, the tunnel, and out here. So it's September and the garden is still producing, yet you know it's on the way out and we're in the transition. And I'm still trying to figure out, how do I really feel about the transition? There is a part of me that is longing for a slower pace. There is a part of me that is gonna miss seeing bright red tomatoes on my kitchen counter and being able to taste a fresh tomato. Like, I always miss that when it comes winter. I miss that because waiting till next summer to get a good tomato, that's a long time, and the tomatoes in the store are horrible. So yeah, I'm gonna miss that, but at the same time, it's been quite a busy summer. And not that it won't be busy, but the fall garden, if you've never gardened in the fall, I'm telling you, it's a different experience. It's a different pace. You can breathe more and all that. So I'm trying to soak up these last few weeks of summer, even though summer is kind of over in terms of the garden, because I'm still having stuff being produced. It's still not over yet. Like, it ain't over yet. Until I shut this outside garden down, it ain't over yet. And right now, it's still giving, just not giving as much. But I got watermelons who, like, you know, and that's another thing I'm just hit me at 58 degrees. Like, that's gonna really mess up my watermelons. So we'll keep watching the forecast and see if it actually does get that low. And of course, we'll come out here and do a massive harvest of everything that we can if we think we're gonna lose anything. I'm ready to see my counters again, but at the same time, I'm not complaining because I have been blessed beyond measure with abundance this summer. And when I think about that, it really, man, if I stop and think about that, it does make me emotional because God did it yet again. I don't know if you're like me, how you have a measure of success, but then you chalk it up to like, okay, that was just a fluke. Or I don't know if I can, if I'll be able to do this again. Like even now, after all of this abundance this summer, as I'm looking at my carrots not germinating, I'm looking at my seeds, I'm thinking, am I going to be able to grow anything? Like, do I really know how to grow food? Like, why is my stuff not germinating? Like, you still second guess yourself. You still self-doubt, even after you have a measure of success. And no matter what, I know with every season, whether it's fall or summer, when I start to plant, when I start seeds, when I start to try to grow something, I have this thought in the back of my head, like, is it going to grow? Like, what if nothing grows? What if nothing grows? And how crazy does that sound, right? I've grown plenty of stuff, but I still have this thought about what if nothing grows? What if my seeds don't germinate, right? It's amazing how that happens. And so when I think back about this summer, there's pieces of it that I rushed. There's pieces of it that I complained. And now as we're nearing the end, I'm filled with gratitude. I am filled with an abundant, gracious, grateful spirit because I had the privilege of being able to grow food that I can eat, that my family can eat, that my friends can eat, that I was able to sell. Everybody doesn't get that opportunity. And so that just hit me because I'm out here and I'm glad I didn't take you inside the garden because I don't know that I would have had this epiphany, but it's something about being outside in nature. Right now I hear like the little bugs, with their little song or whatever. The sun is about to set. I'm looking ahead of me and I see nothing but green mountains. I see the backdrop behind me. It's quiet. And you look around and you think, what an amazing, amazing privilege to be able to put a seed in the ground and get food. Like, y'all, what an amazing privilege. What an amazing opportunity to be able to put a seed in the ground, in your pot, in your container, in some soil, some old dirty soil, some soil that is probably malnourished, but yet it produced food for your table and my table. What a privilege. So I invite you, be grateful for whatever the summer garden brought you. Maybe you didn't have as many tomatoes as you wanted. Maybe your cucumbers were looking sideways. Maybe your squash was burnt. I don't know. But I want you to think back about the many blessings, the many things in abundance, no matter what it was. And just be grateful because everybody didn't get a chance to grow their own food this summer. Everybody didn't even have a pot to put a seed in. So no matter whether you're on your patio, whether you're on land like me, whether you're in a townhouse, condo, no matter where you are, if you have the opportunity to plant some stuff and to grow food, count it all joy. Count it all graciousness, right? And I probably didn't do enough of that this summer. I probably wasn't grateful enough because it's not many times that you come out here in the summer and you're just still. Like right now, it's so quiet. And many times this summer, I did not even notice because I was so busy. But I'm thankful for this moment right here where I can just look around and reflect on yet another successful gardening season. It's been real. But it ain't over. It ain't over. Well, thank you guys for joining me. I didn't know what this video was going to be about. I wanted to tell you about my new shoes because you can't tell me nothing. But I wanted to show you the transition. But as I walked out here, we're nearing the end and I'm filled with gratitude. And I'm thankful for this moment. I'm thankful for each of you that join in every single time. you see my name pop up and you find out what I am, what I'm doing, and you leave the most beautiful comments, the most beautiful prayers, the most beautiful thanks. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you're new here, this is your first time stopping by, I hope that you got something that put a smile on your face, and I would love for you to subscribe and be a part of this community. Gardening is a journey. It's not a destination. We continue to learn, we continue to grow, but let's grow together. I'll see you next time, friend.